Hello, my name's Linda and this is my kitchen garden. Today I'm going to walk you through my garden. So my garden is 30 square metres. That's right, isn't it? Yes, 6 metres wide by 5 metres long, whichever way. 30 square metres. So it's very small. So every little inch in my garden is premium, every single space. So I have to utilise every space best I can. So I'm going to walk you through because everything's getting lovely and lush now, and it's growing really well. So I'm going to do you a little tour today, a full tour of my little back garden, of my little space, so that you can see what you can grow in such a small space. You don't have to grow, you don't have to have like massive great big area or a field or a farm or an allotment. You see all these YouTubers that are big growers that have big areas to grow. Well, I don't have that. I don't have the space. I do have an allotment, but my allotment at the moment is contaminated. It's in Thornton. I'll pop the link underneath to the video that I've done about that. And that's historic contamination from the old ICI plant. So I can't use my allotment at the moment to grow vegetables. But I can use my back garden. And like I say, it's only small, so I'll show you what I've done and how things are progressing. And it's extremely hot today. It's 26 degrees and I'm in Blackpool. So my growing zone is 8B. So I'm past my last frost date. It's May now. I think it's the 12th of May today. Not sure. I think it's the 12th of May. So it's extremely warm. We've got extremely warm weather. We've not had any water, so we've not had any rain for weeks. And believe me, I am not moaning. After last year with continuous rain and all my crops failing, everything failed last year because slugs were rife. So because there's no rain, there's no slugs. So win-win as far as I'm concerned. So I am watering everything daily. It's got to be watered daily. Now I'm doing mine in the morning only because that if I do it at night time, the slugs are more active and snails. I don't really suffer that much with slugs here. Snails are my problem because I've got lots of frogs. So the frogs eat the slugs before they even really get to maturity. But I do have problems with snails. I've got a hedgehog. So you'll have seen me on previous videos whizzing him over the fence. Well, that's because the hedgehog lives down there and it feeds there at night. So when you go down the side of my house, there's like an access alleyway around the boundary of my house to the other houses further down so that they can get the bins out and things like that. So I throw them down there. If you go down there, it's like a graveyard of shells. There's absolutely hundreds of snail shells down there. So that's where I evacuate my snails. They go to nature and Mr. Hedgehog in the area eats them. Yay! Anyway, let's stop waffling and crack on, and I'll give you a little tour and let's see if we can just cram it all in so it's not too long and it don't get too boring. Okay, let's go. So we'll start up here. I've got my cucumbers in, as you know, and they're growing lovely. So I've actually got, I can just get the camera in there. I've actually got cucumbers there. They're coming along lovely. And I've put these little frames up, and then I've got like string, if you can see it, just going up there and onto the other side there. And that's where I will wind them round, because with cucumbers, even though they produce these tendrils to cling on, they're not very good at it. They're not very good at climbing. So I wind them round string, so I train them round string. It's just much easier to do that. And these were a bit slow to kick off this year, my lemon cucumbers. They're usually the first to go off, but they've took the time this year, so it's been a bit of a slow one. So I've got some seedlings up there that need potting on. There's giant sunflowers there, they're getting a bit leggy, so I need to sort them out. And strawberries that are planted from seed as well, so they need sorting out too. Now these are my chilies that I overwintered, so they've just started growing leaves back, and if you can see there, they're actually growing peppers. So that's peppers, that, and they're all flowering. So some aren't, some have got like a little bit of a leaf growing on them, but they're all sat in my window there, and they're actually flowering, so they're doing better than my actual seed. These are ones that I grew by seed last year, so they're doing better than last year. Can you believe it? But you can believe it because the weather was so bad last year. And then my little grow station here is next to nothing, so I've got near enough everything out at the moment, ready for my next lot of sowing for winter, so I haven't started that yet. So I've got some Cavolo Nero there that I need to pot on here, and their lettuce, they need to find their location. They're lupins for my allotment over there. I'm going to put them in the allotment, so I'll do a video when I get down there. I've not been. And these are just basil and green sprouting broccoli on the top there. These two have just been bathed and drying in the sun. So as you can see, I'm just cramming anything in. So I find a space and it goes in. So I've got lettuce in there, and I've got some, these are Ailsa Craig onions, can you see? These ones here. And these are peas. Now, don't ask me which variety are which, because what happened was I got a bit of a snail infestation and they ate some babies, so I had to fill them in and move them around. Are you with me? So the peas at the back, if you can see through there, we've got pods. We'll be doing a succession of peas once these are harvested. There's the pods, no peas in yet, but you can see them. If you look on my Instagram, I have took a picture, you can see the peas through, the little tiny peas. I've got beans in here. These are French beans that are running along here. And at the front there, I've put some radish. These are sown in modules, so I've done multi-sow of those in little modules and then planted them out. I've also planted 2 baby boos, but I've just noticed that one has been eaten there. The other one survived. So I've only got one there now. So that's in like, oh, I've got strawberries there as well. Strawberries there and strawberries there. And they're on my fence. So this is in like a planter. Just against the fence there. We'll twizz round. On this side, this is the middle of the garden. So you can see there the middle. I've got some tomato plants there. These tomato plants here are Crimson Crush, so they're a blight resistant variety. I don't get blight in my garden, but you never know, never say never. So they are blight resistant, so even if the others suffer, then it's usually damp weather and it's airborne into the fungus, so I don't think I'll get it. Touch wood anyway, touch wood, touch wood. And I've planted some leeks. Now I couldn't fit all my leeks in one patch, so I've put them all over. These are giant leeks, and I've dotted them all over. So they're in as well. I've put marigolds around. There are marigolds in there as well. I've just thought about that. Somewhere. Oh, there's chard there as well. Yeah, I've got chard and I've got marigolds at the back, if you can see. So obviously, as it progresses and it gets bigger, everything grows. It'll make more of a contrast and a bit of colour. So these are beans here. I've got some chard there as well. And I've got celeriac in the middle. I've just got 3 celeriac plants in the middle there. And I've got beans along the outside. One side is Bellotto beans. They're the ones on the far side. And this side are French beans. In there I've got giant mustard. Now, obviously, they're not going to stay in there, but they're in there as a temporary measure just for now. I will be probably relocating those, but not until the broad beans are done. And this here is an Asturian tree cabbage. Now, this is a perennial, so it comes back every year. I had 3 in this pot, so 2 have gone to seed. I've let them go to seed because there were no flowers early on for the bees, and I've took them out, filled it with compost, put some nutrition back in with some fish blood and bone meal, and then added these giant mustard as a temporary measure because they do grow quite big, those. Then I've got tubs of onions here, and then this is a tub of multiple onions that I'm harvesting as spring onions there. This is Lily Rose potato in this, which is in like a big tub there. They're the Lily Rose. They're a main crop variety, and they're red on the outside and the inside. And I've got garlic in planters there. I've also got garlic outside my fence as well in planters the same as those. So these were planted, you can see they're actually getting scapes on them now. So as soon as they go curly, those scapes, I'm going to snip them off, and they can be chopped and used in a stir fry there. So I'll be chopping them off quite soon and using them, and then the garlic will carry on growing them. Now in this bed here, this is just like a back corner, if you can see, of my garden. So I've had to barricade it off because certain little mischievous boys keep sitting on me veg. So in here I've got purple kohlrabi at this end. I have planted leeks in there, so I've got giant leeks in there as well. And then I've got some Calabrese broccoli, you know, the fat broccoli like you buy in the supermarket. That's at this end here. And then up the other end there with the tall, bigger leaves, so they're the frilly leaves of the broccoli. And then the tall, thinner leaves there, they're kalettes. So they're like a cross between a sprout and kale. They're like a little frilly sprout. They're lovely, they are. They're not as strong as sprouts, so they're nice. Then at the back there, I've got cauliflower. And they're all coming on lovely with hardly any chewing whatsoever. If you can remember my allotment last year, it was attacked really bad. I couldn't get anything started at all. Then I've got tubs right at the back there, and in the tubs I've got tomatoes in one because I did have blueberries and I couldn't get them going, so I've just took the blueberries out and put tomatoes in. And then I've got a black currant bush there, and then in the pink one there I've got parsnips. I've never grown parsnips in planters before, so let me know if you've had a go at doing it, and tell me how you got on. So it's my first year try. I've done carrots in planters, but not parsnips. So we'll see how that goes. I'll see what happens with those. And then these here, these humongous plants here, are my broad beans. They'll need a good water. I'm going to water them after. And there's absolutely hundreds of flowers on these. They're keeping the bees extremely busy. I've had loads and loads and loads of bees in my garden this year. And I didn't see any last year, but this year I've got loads. And then those at the back on the fence there, they're strawberries. And like I say, everything needs good water. It's all looking a bit shriveled. Now you can eat the tops of these as well. So you can cut the tops off those and you can eat them. They're like in a stir fry. Anyway, this middle bit here, this planter here, is one of those vertical planters which stacks. And this was only £15 off Amazon. I have popped the link in previously to buy it so that you can get them. But honestly, this is absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best things I've ever bought. So I've just got herbs in this one. So I've got parsley and thyme. Oh no, I haven't got thyme, I don't think. I've got curly parsley, mint, lemon balm, sage at the top there, spring onions in the middle. I've got some of that savoury winter there that's just sort of trying there. I don't even know what's that one. Yeah, that's savoury winter there as well. Oh, so what's that one then? Wait a minute. That's a nothing. It's washed off. Don't know what that is. Anyway, they're all herbs. I've got herbs in there as well. So this is sage. And then I've got some mint at the back and parsley at the front there. Got another marigold there. This is an African marigold, that one. I didn't grow that. I didn't grow these are African marigolds. I didn't buy them. I didn't grow these. These were reduced to £1, so I bought them. Anyway, these are my. So these are old fridges. These, and in there I've got onions. I've got red onions in this one. And onions in there, but I have been using these as spring onions as well because it was just getting a bit overcrowded. So I pulled out the small ones in the middle to leave the big ones to get bigger on the outside. And I've put in 3 small bush variety of tomatoes just at that end. So I don't know how they'll do, but I've got hundreds of tomatoes. I was just finding spaces for them. Same in there, I've put a couple of tomato plants. And this is just herbs. So that's chervil. It's gone to seed now. It's flowering. Got the pretty little delicate flowers on them there. So lovely. And I've put cucumber outside as well. I thought I'd give them a go outside because it's so warm. I'd see what happened. So I've put those in. Now this bed here, this is another bed, as you can see. It's just a raised planter. Just like that. This are blotti beans on this side, by the way. And the string, you need to do, if you're going to do string, you need to do it vertically like that because beans wind upwards like that. The whole plant winds, if you can see. They don't have tendrils, they wind. And on this side, I've got the purple French beans there. Then I've got some beetroot there. Planted some beetroot in there. Some rhubarb chard there. And then I've got some chard at the back. That was beet leaf chard bright white. That one. That's from the garden centre. Those 6 at the back. And the ones in the middle, they're mine. They're beetroot there, and then chard there that I've grown from seed. And then these are my radish there, and they're all doing great. The radish that I planted in the greenhouse bolted because it was too hot, so I took it all out. I'm not very good at radish. This is a spinach variety. Can't remember which variety it is, but it's spinach. And then I've got some exhibition onions there. And they're komatsuna, which are like a spinach Asian green, which are lovely in stir fries. Eat a lot of Asian food, as you can tell. And my potatoes have all sprouted here. So these are in the shade. They only get a little bit of sun later on. So they won't be massive potatoes because they don't get full sunlight. So if you're wondering whether you can pop your potatoes to grow potatoes in the shade, yes you can. There's your answer. And I've got tomatoes in there. These are tumbling toms, so these are like they'll just grow and then fall over, so they won't be, they're not one that need support. And then in here again I've got the komatsuna in there, and then I've got spinach in between as well. I've done a couple of hanging baskets. They're petunias, those, just petunias. I've not done anything else in there. So we're in the greenhouse now. It's extremely hot in here. I've got the window open there, and I've got the door open with a little barricade thing. Let's shift that out of the way a minute. Right, so my tomatoes are all doing well. They're all growing. So I'm going to have a little look at them later on. Keep an eye on them. Look at this though. So this is one of the vertical planters. And in here I've put vegetables. So I was testing it really because I wasn't sure what to plant in. Looking a bit droopy, they need a water. So in here I've got pak choi growing in there. And I've got spring onions in the top. And then I scattered a load more onions as well, which are coming up. Then underneath I've got celery there. That one. Celery. And then I've got some kohlrabi. Purple kohlrabi. Oh no, that's not kohlrabi, I don't think. Is it? It might be. That's green kohlrabi at the bottom there. And then I've got kale. Do you know what I think? I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know what that is. Oh wait, I've got a thing in there. It's cauliflower. Oh, there we go. That's a cauliflower. I've put a cauliflower in that one. I did label it. Yay! And then I've got kale on this side. So yeah, I just thought I'd try like a load of different things. So I might get another one of these because I like them that much. Like I say, everything needs a good water. I don't need to keep telling you that. I've got some asparagus peas there, so they're going to be my next ones. I'm going to put them in a tub, in a big tub with support, with like a little bamboo support. These are all my giant sunflowers, and these are my Calabos red cabbage. I've got Calabos red cabbage, and I've got red Drummond as well there. And then in there I've got white Burbank. These are like a white sprouting broccoli, like a little cabbagey type there. These are all winter veg, these. So I'm going to have to pot them on again, and that's Brussels sprouts in there with what looks like courgettes coming out of the same pot. And they're going over there. So when they come up, these will all finish. So my broad beans will all finish in June. And then I can take all those up, and then these cabbages will go there, and I'll have to hoop it and put a net over it and net that. I've got a few more leeks that I'm going to dust about. I have put leeks in outside in that main bed there, and I've got these. I've got to find spaces for those, so I've got quite a few out. I did plant radish in here, but they bolted because it's just too hot in here for radish. Radish do not like heat. And these are, so this is just salad. I've got some more lettuce, as you've seen inside. So I'm going to put that in there. I've got some spinach. I'm going to put in that end little one with the komatsuna and the other spinach. So I'll put that in there because they don't like extreme heat neither. Spinach is a bit fussy. Tomatoes again. Nothing really happening with those at the moment. Then these are my carrots that I've got in polystyrene containers. So this is the first lot that I planted, and then I planted a second lot, and then I planted those. But those look virtually the same. But yeah, they'll only be small carrots. So as soon as they're harvested, then I'll try and get another lot in for winter and keep them in these polystyrene containers. And then I've done another hanging basket there, if you can see. And there's all sorts in that. Don't ask me what's in it. I've no idea. I just planted some random plants, and I think I might put too many in it. But yeah, it's doing all right. Again, needs watering. So that's it really. It's all getting very green and everything's growing really well. I'm going to plant something in one of them tubs with those, so I'm going to use these. These are the radish that I pulled out in the bottom of a planter as nutrition, and then I'll put compost on top and plant something else in there, like instant compost. So anyway, yeah, let's get in. Did you know as well, I've only just discovered that this tree here, see these berries? I thought that they were poisonous and the dogs were eating them, so I googled it. Anyway, I forgot what it's called, but I'll pop the name underneath. And it's the berries are really nutritional, really nutritious and like a superfood. But I've not even tried one. Apparently they taste like blueberries, but they've got a bit of a seed inside, like a bit of a pit. But yeah, I'll pop the name of that tree, and I've had that tree 25 years. And who knew that I had some superfood in my back garden? So that's it for this one. You take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Whew.